In the sport of drag racing, the Pro Modified class, or Pro Mod for short, in whichever sanction, by whatever name, represents the quickest and fastest full-bodied race cars on the planet. It's comprised of supercharged, pro-charged, turbo, and nitrous boosted machines that mostly, kind of, look like their street-driven counterparts, and are meant to, and to some degree still do, embody a little of that old outlaw spirit. Today let me introduce you to the two-wheel equivalent of those monster race cars, the Pro Modified motorcycles. Like the four-wheeled counterparts, the Pro Mod motorcycles also embody a little of that old outlaw spirit. With large displacement engines and a choice of nitrous or turbocharged combinations stuffed into a stretched chassis with a body that sort of retains some of that factory shape, although special seats are required to properly fit the giant balls possessed by the people that ride them. Thanks to the developer of Bounty Drag Racing, for possibly the first time ever, we now have purpose-built drag racing motorcycles for online competition. Today I'm very excited to bring you the first ever Bounty Drag Racing Pro Modified motorcycle quarter-mile shootout from Straight Line Media Raceway. 13 racers had 3 opportunities to qualify for tonight's event, with their best passes determining where they will be seated on a 16-car elimination-style tournament ladder. At the end of qualifying, it was X covering most of the field with an off-the-trailer 5.851 second pass in the first qualifying session. Event host Flash 660 would run low ET in the only 5 of the second qualifying session, laying down a 5.984 second blast that would be good for number 4 in the order when it was all said and done. Let's take a look at tonight's final qualifying order and see how everyone stacks up going into the first round of eliminations in just a few moments. With 13 racers here tonight competing on a 16-spot ladder, the number 1, 2, and 3 qualifiers have earned themselves a bye into the next round, with X, Wisniewski, and CGJ automatically moving on. For the rest, it will be Big Chungus 8310 with lane choice against TJQSK, Flash 660 picking his lane against Keaton 871, Reese 2 Tough choosing lanes alongside Royal Bleezy, Dick Sedenia gets the pick against Corey Short, and Burkdale gets lane choice when he takes on Rhino Bloodfire. Before we get into round 1, if you enjoyed tonight's action, don't forget to give that thumbs up button a quick smash so YouTube knows that others might like this as well. If this is the sort of thing you're into, subscribe to the channel for more, hit that bell for notifications, and share this with your friends so we can continue to grow this channel and community as a whole. If you would like to get in on the action and join us on the track, go pick up Bounty Drag Racing for PC on Steam if you haven't already, and hopefully we see you in the lane sometime soon. If you already race or plan to sometime soon, you're going to want to stick around for a while because later I'm going to take you into the pits and show you how to set one of these bikes up to have you running 6.0s or better in no time at all. Now let's get started with round 1 of eliminations. First up is number 1 qualifier X with his nitrous equipped entry, who has earned a bye into the next round and a chance to get in one more test hit. He ran a 585 in the opening qualifying session, but has only slowed down since with a 6.067 and a 6.111 in the next 2 runs. Let's see what happens here. A 6.040 237 miles per hour. Here comes our first pair of bikes to face off in round 1, and it's your number 8 and 9 qualifiers. On the gray bike in the driver's right is number 8 Big Chungus 8310. Riding the pretty orange machine is a number 9 qualifier TJQSK. Both riders on nitrous assisted entries with just a few hundredths difference between them in qualifying. Riders ready. A great side-by-side drag race, TJQSK takes a win with both racers running identical 6.143 second elapsed times. Let's have another look at that one. It looks like Big Chungus crosses first, but this is the internet, so things don't always sync perfectly. There's always some tiny degree of network delay between opponents. However, your runs are timed individually, so for the most part, what you run is what you run. Add the reaction time to the elapsed time, and the racer with the smallest package is the one that crossed the finish line first, despite how it may sometimes appear. And that was TJQSK, who will face X in round 2. Next out in the right lane, we have the number 4 qualifier and event host Flash 660. He'll take on the number 13 qualifier Keaton 871. The Nitrous combination seems to be the popular choice here tonight, with both of these two running just that. I don't think there's any real performance advantage between this and the turbocharged setups. It just really comes down to what you're most comfortable tuning and riding. Riders ready. Keaton with a slight advantage on the tree, but it's all Flash running a 5.994 at 240 miles per hour. Let's watch that one again. You're going to see just about every bike leave the starting line with at least some tire smoke. That's normal in bounty drag racing. Just like in the real world, these vehicles need to intentionally spin the rear slick just enough to build wheel speed to overcome what in the real world would become tire shake, and in bounty drag racing would be excessive clutch slippage and a lazy race car. In the real world, you just don't see the smoke until someone spins too much. You can see here Flash made a nice launch and was fully hooked up by the time he passes the tree. Keaton trailing smoke about 100 feet, and it's pretty much over from there. Coming up next in another Nitrous entry is multi-time event winner and number 5 qualifier Reese Too Tough. He would have been taking on the turbocharged entry and number 12 qualifier Royal Bleezy. Unfortunately, one of Bleezy's crewmen collapsed due to smoke inhalation earlier and he couldn't make the run. Or it was connection issues on his end, I forget which. That gives Reese a free pass to round 2 though, with a test hit to play with. Nice looking launch, straight down the groove. 5.926, 236 miles per hour. Reese joins the 5-second club here tonight on a great looking pass. Not much to say about that one. He got the front wheel up and the back tire hooked up by the time he's past the tree, and it was just a nice smooth looking run. Coming out next on another Nitrous entry is number 2 qualifier Wisniewski, whose name I'm sure I'm pronouncing incorrectly and will continue to do so until I'm corrected. This is the scheduled bye run based on his qualifying position. His 4.923 in the final qualifying session earned him the solo pass. He runs a nice 6.064 at 236 miles per hour to move on to round 2. You can see that the difference between a 5.9 second pass and a 6.0 is in how quickly you're getting your power to the ground. On his pass, Reese got it down just a few feet earlier in the run, and that little bit is likely the difference. Here comes number 7 qualifier Shifts&Giggles. He'll get a solo into the second round as well, unfortunately. After a brief and not so extensive search of the nearby porta potties, number 10 qualifier Corey Short was unable to be located in time, and that means we'll get another solo pass here, as number 7 qualifier Shifts&Giggles will get a bye into round 2 in a match with Wisniewski. Sticks runs at 6.176 at only 215 miles per hour. Here is number 3 qualifier CGJ using the dominant, at least by participant count, Nitrous combination. He earned his solo pass by virtue of his 5.924 second pass in the final qualifying session. His first 2 passes were a 6.03 and a 6.31, so he might want to try and find some consistency here to stick around past this round. At the finish line, a 6.111 at 236 miles per hour. That's probably not what he was looking for there. It looked like a good pass, with not too much wheel spin off the line, and it had decent speed on the top end, but that's still the second slowest pass he's made in this event. That brings us to the last race of the opening round, and we do indeed have a race winner. In the right-hand lane, we have the only turbocharged entry to make it up for round number 1, and it's in the hands of number 6 qualifier Perked Out. In the other lane, aboard his Nitrous machine, is number 11 qualifier Rhino Bloodfire. Perked Out managed to string together 3 consecutive 6-0s in qualifying, proving that the turbo combination is just as capable as the Nitrous setups. Identical reaction times. Good drag race. Perked Out rides the turbo bike into the next round with a 6.061 231 mile per hour pass. That was a good side-by-side race to close out round 1. The pairings for round 2 will see X taking on TJQSK, Flash 660 versus Reese Too Tough, Wisniewski versus Stix-Cedinha, and CGJ versus the Lone Turbo or Perked Out. Did you know motorcycle drag racing can be looked at as almost a different sport in itself? Because for every 4-wheel classic competition there is, most likely a 2-wheel equivalent exists as well. Besides the pro modified motorcycles that we are watching today, Bounty Drag Racing also comes with this: a turbocharged and stretched Widowmaker designed for the grudge racing scene, as well as one of the baddest machines in all of 2-wheeled motorsports, this nitro burning beast known as the Top Fuel motorcycle. I'm not going to lie, I've not figured this one out yet myself, but I will keep working on it. Badass. Okay, back to the pro mods in round number 2. Burning out in the left lane is number 1 qualifier X. He's taken on the orange bike ridden by one of the few people who had to beat somebody to make it into this round. That is TJQSK. On paper this should be all X. Looks like it's X out front. And across the line first in a good drag race, 6.079 240 miles per hour for the win to TJQSK 6096 239. Apologies for the technical issues. We'll have a look at what we can in slow-mo. Would have been a good looking race, just a bike length difference at half track and not much more at the finish line, with X moving on to the final 4. Coming out in the left lane is number 5 qualifier Reese Too Tough. On the right side is Flash 660. These are your number 4 and 5 qualified bikes, both riders dipping into the 5s in the opening round. Reese on a solo pass, and Flash will taking out Keaton 87. The last time we seen these two meet up on this channel, it was in the pro mods of the 4-wheel variety, where Reese would come out on top in a pretty decent drag race. Let's see what happens this time. Reese away first, and checks out. A 5.954 237 mile per hour pass, Flash off the pace at 6.196. You can see Reese clearly away first. Flash may have been a little soft as well as late on the tree, as that gap grew quickly. Reese will move on to meet X in one half of the semifinals. In the left lane, coming out next and going for a breathalyzer test after this pass is number 2 qualifier Wisniewski. In the other lane is number 7 qualifier Stix-Cedinha. Neither faced an opponent in the opening round. Of the two, it was Wisniewski who made the better pass with his 6.064 to Stix's off-pace 6.176. Riders ready. Great side-by-side race again. Stix-Cedinha on a hole shot. A 6.137 takes out Wisniewski's quicker 6.107. Watch the smoke trails in the replay. Both bikes react and start to spin the tires like they should at just about the same moment. In the right lane, Stix gets hooked up and moving pretty quickly. In the left, Wisniewski will spin too much, and that killed his reaction time and allowed Stix to build a gap he couldn't overcome. But he ran well through the middle, and by the time they hit the stripe, you got a pretty close drag race. Coming through the staging lanes is the final pair of round 2, and we have some turbo on nitrous action for you. Packing the turbo in the right lane is number 6 qualifier Perked Out, representing the nitrous combination, just like all the rest of the field, is a number 3 qualifier CGJ. CGJ got a solo through round 1, Perked Out defeated Rhino Bloodfire. They're ready. They're set. It's all over on the starting line. CGJ turns the tree red, and Perked Out takes the turbo into the semifinals with a 6.091 at 233 miles per hour. Our pairings for the semifinal round in just a few minutes will be X taking on Reese Too Tough on one side of the ladder, with Shifts&Giggles going up against the turbo entry of Perked Out. For all those interested, you new racers out there, or those who may be struggling, let's head into the pits. Tonight I'm going to show you some tips on how to ride one of these Nitrous assisted badasses. Then we'll have a look at how it's set up. So let's hit the track. From the burnout box, we activate burnout mode. Hold the brake and give it throttle. It's best with the bikes to stay in the burnout box and on the brakes until after you release the throttle. Then I'll take it out of gear until it's back to idle RPM. Now we make sure burnout mode gets turned off and roll slowly into pre-stage. Now stage, bum on trans brake, full throttle, release, work through the gears, across the finish line with a 6:03 at 240 miles per hour. Now it's your turn. Grab a pen and a paper or get your screenshots, then hop on a bike and give it a try. If you do, please let me know in the comments how it worked for you. It's always great to hear when I've been able to help someone out, and your engagement with this channel really helps. It is time for the semifinals. In the right hand lane is our number 1 qualifier X. In the left lane is our number 5 qualifier Reese Too Tough. This could be a really good race here. Both racers capable of 5-second runs. Reese has made 2 of them already in eliminations, 1 solo, and 1 while taking out TJQSK. X qualified on top with a 5.852, but has yet to run another 5 in this event. Riders ready. Side by side off the line. Reese in front at half track, and Reese full shots his way into the final round after both racers run identical 6.050 elapsed times. Impossible to tell who moves first, it's so close off the starting line. It looks like Reese out front by a bike at half track. At the finish line, that could be down to half a bike as X slowly closed some of that gap. Awesome drag race. Let's find out who our other finalists will be tonight. In the right hand lane aboard the Nitrous entry is number 7 qualifier Shifts&Giggles. In the left lane is the only turbocharged machine to appear in eliminations, ridden by Perked Out. Sticks soloed in round 1 and took out Wisniewski in round 2. Perked Out defeated Rhino Bloodfire in the opening round and CGJ last time out. They're ready. Sticks with a better light, but it's a close race. Perked Out takes the turbo bike to the final round with a 6.093 233 mile per hour pass. Let's watch that one again. Sticks gets off the line beautifully. Perked Out will spin the tires for a good long way and loses some ground early. By half track they're almost side by side, and at the finish line it's the turbo bike by a length. Before we crown a winner here tonight, I would like to thank you all who are watching this, the racers who took part, Flash660 for hosting, and KODgames for building us a sandbox we play in. My apologies if I sound like a member of the Force family wrapping off sponsors when I do this, but your support means a lot, not only for this channel, but for this game and online drag racing as a whole. This sport has never been taken seriously by the video game industry. Maybe we can all grow this community together and show them that we should be taken seriously. If you've enjoyed what you've seen today, remember to hit that thumbs up, subscribe for more, hit the bell for notifications, and share this with your friends on social media. If you have any questions or comments, I'd love to hear them, and thanks again. Okay folks, it all comes down to this. Who's taking home the bragging rights of being the first ever Bounty Drag Racing Pro Mod Motorcycle Quarter-Mile Shootout event champion? Coming out in the left lane is our number 5 qualifier. Riding the Nitrous entry is Reese Too Tough. In the right lane is our number 6 qualifier and lone turbocharged entry, Perked Out. Reese has raced his way past Flash660 and X to get here. Perked Out defeated Rhino Bloodfire, Reese's brothers CJJ, and Shifts&Giggles. The racing has been pretty good tonight anytime we've had a pair of bikes on the line. This one could be pretty close. They're set. Advantage Reese. Lots of smoke from Perked Out. Can the turbo make it up? No way. Reese is indeed too tough tonight, running a 6.035 at 236 miles per hour and taking the victory. Perked Out was right there with him, running his best pass of the event at a 6.024. That just wasn't enough. As we look at it one more time, I'd like to thank everybody for watching. I really hope you enjoyed this, and we see you in the lane sometime soon. Have a good night.
Welcome to my party, we're just getting started. A life is a dream or a nightmare scarring. Hand me a drink cause I think I'm going all in. Get me a shrink who can catch me when I'm falling. Cover up my scars, flip the handlebars, crashing in my car.